Stagecoach Theater for the Decline, Fall, and Agonizing Death of Love, the musical. I am Jim Joseph. I will be your artist this evening, and you, of course, will be the audience. It's very exciting being in the Fringe Festival, and one of the benefits is after performances, theatrical directors will come up and give you suggestions. For example, one gentleman suggested that I needed an exciting dance number in the middle of my show. So between Tuesday and Thursday, I choreographed the mating dance of the praying mantis. So you have that to look forward to. So let's begin the festivities. I loved a woman, she didn't love me back. I loved a woman, she didn't love me back. What a bitch, I hate her. A beautiful woman with a slight hunchback, deformed back, what a hump. She had ears that could block the sun, really clears like midnight out of fun. One leg is shorter than the other one, she fell down a lot. Beautiful woman with a big mustache, every girl needs to shave. I'm a love addict, she's emotionally unavailable. Because she doesn't care, I'm drawn to her. An endless cycle of despair and loss. My therapist says I should run away, but I'm convinced if I repeat the same destructive pattern over and over, she'll eventually come to love me. When it's a one-man show, you give yourself all the guitar solos, which is great. I loved a woman, she didn't love me back. I loved a woman, she didn't love me back. What a bitch, I hate her. A beautiful woman, really smelly feet, like a skunk on a summer night. If you had loved me, wouldn't have to make this up to forget you. Early in the 21st century, I tried internet dating. And my dating service advertised what they called a reverse search. So instead of finding all the women I want, I could find the women that despise me. Which is a real time saver. Just get right to where the thing is going. Actually, it turned out the reverse search is to find all the women looking for someone exactly like me. Male and with a pulse. So I fired this thing up, and within seconds I had 50 pages of women from all over the state, apparently looking for me. Now, this is exciting news, but this is too many women. I had to narrow down this list. I was up all night categorizing, selecting, printing out internet maps with alternate routes for inclement weather. Along the way, I had to make some tough calls. One woman in particular was absolutely gorgeous. 6 foot 1 inches tall and almost certainly a transvestite. In every photograph, her Adam's apple had been artfully shaded, quite possibly by the shadow from her huge penis. This gave me cause to think. With a woman of this size, for the first time in my life, date rape became a real concern. I feared for my maidenhood. I really haven't experienced that sort of marital bliss. Saving myself for prison. So the whole affair caused me to stop and ask the eternal question, why do men chase after women? I think it's the same compulsion that causes salmon to swim upstream. Once they get going on their journey, they stop eating, they begin to physically deteriorate, some get eaten by bears. They arrive at their destination beaten and humbled. They spawn and then they die. I can only dream of a relationship going that well. Perhaps I should make one clarification. Not all of my dates were transvestites. Sadly, because that truly is fun for the whole family. But this next song kind of captures a very typical internet date for me in those days. We'd never met before, that first night at the shore, a seaside hideaway, where love can really play. I told her everything. She had a chicken wing. Our romance took a break while she devoured a steak. Sucking of chicken bones drowned out my indecent proposal. It was like dating a garbage disposal. She inhaled lobster like a powerful Hoover. One got caught, I performed the Heimlich maneuver. She had the tiramisu, cheesecake and chocolate fondue. She threw back a vodka and triple sec, and kindly let me pick up the check. My dates were like hardened steel, tempered by decades of tough relationships, honed by adversity to a razor-sharp edge. Whereas I think of myself as more like really old cheese, seasoned, fragrant, somewhat clammy to the touch. And I do think the male mind is more characteristically malleable, because when attracted to a woman of the female persuasion, the male will say or do anything. But with her steel cutting my cheese, what chance did I have? But I kept at the internet dating because my theory was if I didn't do it, I'd feel like I was missing something. But because I was out there, week after week, getting my cheese sliced, I could then sit at home comfortably alone on a Friday night and say, screw that, I'm watching TV with the cat. But eventually you attract a female, and this is where your troubles begin. I met a charming woman who used to be a guide at the aquarium, so we decided to meet there for our first date. The thing I remember most about that day is she explained to me the mating habits of the anglerfish. If you've ever seen one, it's this big toothed, huge jawed thingy with a dangly doodah hanging in front. And the female is huge, whereas the male is a little tiny thing. And the male swims after the female, takes a big bite into her bottom, attaches, gets fed by her blood supply, essentially becoming nothing more than a pleasure device for her. This goes on for a period of time, then the male atrophies, dies, and falls off into the blackness of the deep sea. Pretty much describes my ideal relationship. So later, seated across the table of a Mexican restaurant, watching my date liquidate a half-pound burrito, all I could think about was the female anglerfish, and I thought perhaps I finally found my mate. So back at the house, I began excitedly planning our second date. My best friend and chief dating advisor sensed danger. He was concerned that given my track record, I would get too serious too quickly. And he warned me, a relationship with a woman is very much like holding a large granite boulder over your head. At first it makes you feel strong, invigorated, proud. But after a while your arms start getting tired. Before you completely run out of strength, you need to fling the boulder as far away from you as possible before it crushes you into tiny little bits. I was too excited to listen to any of his nonsense. The possibility of experiencing the blossom of new love. Once again, spreading my pollen to a new flower. After literally years of self-pollination. So I got invited over to her house for dinner. This is the ultimate test of a new relationship. Can you survive in her native habitat? I, for one, got in trouble in her bathroom. Like any woman's bathroom, it makes no sense to the male sensibility. Men require 2 accessories in a bathroom. An industrial strength exhaust fan, a high quality toilet plunger, neither of which were in evidence. Instead, she's got some sort of artificial flower arrangement sitting on top of the toilet, so the seat won't stand up by itself. So I'm holding the seat with one hand, doing my thing, when I notice she's got the window open at exactly the height of a tall man's PB. Right then, the neighbor goes walking by, and I am ducking down and spraying all over the wall. This enraged her cats. Like many single women, she had 23 cats, and they all sleep on the bed with her. So if you have any hopes of laying claim to bedspread real estate, you need to fight your way up the cat food chain too early on. To them, I was just the 24th cat on the scene, and a particularly large, ugly one at that. And they viewed my inadvertent marking of territory in the bathroom as an act of war. However, over time I managed to win their respect and negotiated use of the bathroom, and occasional use of the bedroom, with the proviso that other cats were permitted to sleep on top of me. And thus I spent the long winter nights snuggling for warmth underneath a sea of writhing cat flesh. With our pet problems firmly behind us, the arc of our love was free to develop. And it went something like this. I love you and you love me. We'll be together for eternity. You love you and I love me. We love we just like it's meant to be. In our world, nothing can go wrong. Everything is perfect and we all get along. I've never felt a love so sublime, and never is a really long space of time. I never got drunk, acted unrefined. You never drove like you're legally blind. You never ever faked an orgasm. I never hit your seizure meds and laughed at your spasms. I never stared at your sister's rag. You never got addicted to crack. Can't you see it was meant to be? We'll be together for eternity. You never looked fat in those pants. I never asked your mom for a lap dance. You never had sex with my best friend. I never did something I'm gonna edit here for content. You never left me for another says I'm an idiot. And she has said this often enough and provided enough pertinent detail that I now believe she's correct. This, of course, is perfectly normal. In any healthy long-term relationship, you will come to realize that your significant other is mentally impaired. This barely means you survive the honeymoon period where everything is shallow, vacuous, happiness, and moved on to what I call the idiot phase, where true depth of understanding is achieved. I have some experience in this area. In my day, I have tripped over a woman or two. And my relationships tend to have a very short honeymoon period and progress rapidly to a long, lustrous idiot phase. For example, we were in a video store and my significant other pointed out a movie. And she said, "You'd probably like this. It looks really stupid." Of course, I did like it and it was stupid. But her thesis is even more expansive than this. She believes all men are idiots and are in fact responsible for all the problems in the world today. War, overpopulation, individually wrapped cheese balls. This I take issue with. I believe left to their own devices, men would still be living in caves and defecating in the corner. It's only when men try to impress women that they become a danger to themselves and to others. We need only look to the theory of evolution. This takes us to the African savannah, cradle of civilization, home of two key human developments, walking upright and the weapon. Both innovations created by men to either impress women or get even with them. Some bright Australopithecus guy gets the idea to run deeper into the desert looking for food, essentially becoming the first person to commute to work. Since his arms are free, he is bringing home more dead rodents than any of his buddies. You might imagine this makes him pretty popular with the ladies. He's playing hump the hostess in every cave in town. Until the other Australopithecus pick up bones and beat the living shit out of him. Father of the modern commute dead because women have turned men into idiots. A couple of million years later, we're driving 50 miles each way to work, heavily armed. When you get home late at night, doggy style is no longer part of the program. Which brings me back to my relationship. I can recall the exact moment it transitioned from honeymoon period to idiot phase. She has to see my house. And like filthy cave-dwelling men throughout history, I knew the moment she saw my split-level shithole would be all over between us. Because men have a different take on the homemaking process. Personally, I believe in a minimalist approach. Keep it simple, make do with what you have. I once served a guest a Bloody Mary made out of ketchup and tequila. My approach to house cleaning is very much of the same ilk. Our household consisted of myself, my teenage son, and family dog. The dog served as our spiritual leader, setting the tone for much of our activities. In spite of this, I feel like we ran a tight ship and maintained a clean domicile, at least by the standard of single men and dogs. My girlfriend tried to raise the bar higher, and she refused to use our bathroom. The dog attempted to reason with her. He said, it's fine, I drink out of it all the time. Perhaps I could sum up what happened next by just breaking into song. I let my love for you guide me through the night. I think of you each time I see the dawning light. You are my everything and everything feels right. Won't be happy till you're in my life. And when you dance with me, you almost broke my toes. Can't you buy some decent looking clothes? Who said we need women at all? I've got my dog and we're having a ball. His big wet kiss is what I count on, even though he drinks from the John. She said your bathroom is a catastrophe. She levitated above my toilet seat, afraid that some microbe would get her when she peed. My dog and I failed to see the need. She said to me, something's not right. You're not my type and our future isn't bright. Let's just be friends, but don't call me up. You'll be that friend that I think fondly of, but never have contact with. Spend our summer days rolling in the grass. He's always at my side when we fish for bass. And when the moon is full, we howl a mean duet. A woman is a woman, but a dog's a damn fine pet. Thank you for applauding something so silly. Next, I met a woman who loved to wrestle. I'm talking serious, knockdown, drag-out, winner-take-all battles. It was her idea of foreplay. And I think some women get the wrong idea about me. In spite of being a rather large male mammal, I found myself at a distinct disadvantage in the field of intergender wrestling. Number one, I'm very ticklish. Specifically, if anything comes within a foot of my butt crack, I'm flying out the window. Very susceptible to being goosed. I first learned this lesson in high school band, standing in front of the trombone section. But she decided I was a different kind of man, not a burly brute like she was used to, but sensitive, artistic. The kind of man she could tell anything to. And she did. Soon I knew about every ex-husband, fiance, boyfriend, one-night stand, drunken frat party, bathroom stall liaison. And there were a lot of them. Sometimes in the bedroom late at night, it felt like they were all in the room with us. And none of us could find the lubricant. It was like the Sahara. And it got so we couldn't agree on anything. We would argue in circles for hours. But she had a solution. She said, I want you to meet with my therapist, just the two of you. And I've given her permission to serve as my spokesperson. I said, what, you're too lazy to even show up for our arguments now? Most ridiculous thing I've ever heard, I'm not doing it. So I called her therapist. A soft-spoken, intelligent Swedish woman, and made an appointment to see her, proving once and for all that I'm a huge pussy. But I stewed about it all afternoon. A girl and her girly Swedish therapist, what chance did I have? But that's when I had a moment of brilliance, and I realized I needed my own therapist. So I hired the biggest, fattest, smelliest guy I could find, with a master's degree in psychology. And I said, I want you to be my spokesperson. Hop on your Harley, ride over to her therapist's house, do a couple donuts on her lawn, and fling my message onto her front stoop. enclosed inside a bag of flaming doggy doo-doo. He questioned my maturity. It was at that moment I was forced to realize that the relationship was over. And I felt just sick of being used by women, servicing their selfish sexual needs, then thrown away because she decides I'm not very good at it. And when you have a serious breakup, that's all you can think about every second of every minute of every day. I needed a distraction. So I thought, why not interact with nature in a natural setting, watching all the creatures of the woodland forest frolic amidst the mountain greenery. So I turned on the Discovery Channel, found a show called Insects Who Kill and Eat Their Mates. What could be better for my predicament? First they show the praying mantis. The male approaches the female in a state of heightened sexual excitement, his wings beating out a violent rhythm, contrasted by wild gesticulations in the abdominal region. We've all done it. He climbs on the female's back, begins to mate, and she bites his head off. I'm watching this thinking, this is what I'm talking about. Relationships. Popped his head off like it was a grape. Just served to remind me how easy it is for a good relationship to go bad. Next they showed the black widow spider. A cautionary tale. Here's a telltale sign you may be in trouble. She won't have sex with you unless you position yourself between her outstretched poisonous fangs. Men truly are idiots. At least some male golden orbed spiders keep their wits about them, preferring to mate with the female while she's busy eating her last boyfriend. Not so pleasant for the one being eaten alive, especially if you're the jealous type. This problem has been handily solved by the male biting midge. When a pair of amorous midges engage in the horizontal hokey pokey, the female hammers a pump-like appendage into the male's skull, fills him full of acid, which melts his insides. She sucks his liquidated contents of the appendage. Apparently it's both a pump and a vacuum. Very utilitarian design. She drinks his molten manshake and flings his useless husk to the ground. But not before the male cleverly breaks his genitalia off inside her. His dismembered winky serves to prevent her from mating with any other males. Revenge at last. Thus ensuring his genetic materials passed along to the next generation. Because as evolution teaches us, men are otherwise useless carriers of seed. The narrator made the point that this is all a good thing, nature's design, the circle of life. Even went so far as to suggest that the male, understanding his role in life, might actually enjoy this process. I can tell you from personal experience, this is completely ridiculous. Anytime my girlfriend tried to kill me, I wasn't enjoying it one little bit. This next song will demonstrate it. Passion in love and rapture led to a compound fracture. I know that I treated her exceedingly well. She responded like a beast from someplace in hell. Our love has come and gone, it only left this song, and now we'll never be together. I still ride her jailhouse cell, her things are going well. Maybe I'll see her when she's on parole. I couldn't even think about being in another relationship after that. I concluded I'm an artist. I'll live on a spiritual plane, creating and performing. So I went down to the Anarchist Cafe, a darkened dive bar on the wrong end of town. But on Friday nights, music and poetry bounce off the walls. The atmosphere is electric. I'm sitting on the floor amidst a sea of unwashed humanity that flows in from the neighboring streets and bars. When someone brushes against me and sits down, and this person smells really bad, so I make a furtive glance to my left, and I see it's a beautiful young woman. I decide she doesn't smell that bad after all. Then she's called to the stage as part of a ragtag string band. She takes out a violin, she begins to perform, and she's brilliant. I realize I'm falling in love. So I begin to smile at her. I can't tell if she's smiling back or fighting back a sneeze. I assume the former because I'm a romantic at heart. I imagine myself making love to her. A chorus of crickets chirping in the background. Or it might be my knees. By the end of the third verse, we're married, have 3 kids, live in a trailer park in Barstow, with our mother who likes to practice the accordion. Not only do I not get on with women, I don't even know how to fantasize about them. But it inspired me to imagine what the perfect love would be like, and I wrote this song. Said to me, How many years have passed? The leaves tell autumn's tale. Our time went much too fast, except that stretch in jail. We have a cottage with a big yard. She plays the tuba, I favor cards. Our grandchildren come to play. We invite them all to stay. I don't know if many people know this about me, but my first sexual experience was with a tractor. I grew up in Ohio in a pastoral setting, and I found if you leaned against the tractor while the engine was running, the vibration felt really good. After that, I became very interested in yard work. However, a social foundation of this nature does not adequately prepare you for later relationships with actual humans, which I found baffling. But with that vision of perfect love burning through my mind, I was determined to remove any such impediments to my path. So I enacted a Rocky-like training sequence of self-improvement. I began lifting weights, taking dance classes, accordion lessons. I went on 21 first dates, not that many second dates. But I collected statistics looking for common themes. For example, 79.2% of my dates said, "I don't smile very much." Me. So I began smiling 2-3 hours a day, sometimes at random strangers in the park. With a couple months of intense preparation of this nature, I felt ready for a serious regimen of social interaction. So date number 7 said I drove her crazy. Then she dumped me, so apparently not crazy in a good way. Date number 11 looked about my age, and we both concluded we were far too old for each other. Date number 13 made jokes about herpes and said she wasn't wearing underwear, both of which made me nervous. Date number 17, by this point, my 18-year-old son began giving me advice. He said, "You need to demonstrate that you're a high-ranking member of your tribe, that you're not in awe of her. So tease her, put her down a little bit." So date number 17, right off the bat, I said, "You're an idiot." I said, "Back that down a little, you're trying too hard." By date number 21, I felt like I had taken it to a new level. I love her derriere. It's a French song. It is beyond compare. No matter what she wears, have to stop and stare. She wouldn't talk to me, so I raised up the bar. I bought her dad a car, learned to speak Chinese. Why can't we all just get along and be friends? Instead it's always the same song, got to make amends. I took her to Berlin, we drank a lot of gin, cathedrals in Frankfurt, set the dogs on me. Don't think that I can win, sleeping in this tree. Why can't we all just get along and be friends? Instead, it's always the same song. I actually felt very good about that relationship because technically she didn't break up with me. Her dad did. I counted that as progress. And my next relationship lasted 2.5 years, until that summer we took a vacation trip to Alaska. The first sign of trouble occurred in a wilderness park in the Chilkoot forest. She claims I was flirting with a moose. Nothing could be further from the truth. From my perspective, the moose was hitting on me. It was just being polite. It was a rescued moose in for rehab, emotionally vulnerable. I was wearing musk deodorant. Sparks flew. But as is often the case with relationship issues, the moose incident was just a surface manifestation of a much deeper problem, as this song will demonstrate. Lying in bed, waiting for sleep to come, feeling alone 'cause there's no one else here. It's not a mystery how all this came to be. Started by being me, my first mistake. Our love started well, dinner and dancing, frolic in the dell, no end to romancing. Spring rain found us hand in hand, summer days our toes in sand, passion's flames were duly fanned, our love complete when spring came again. I found her mood had changed, her finger barren of any precious gem. Love that once seemed divine, stung like a porcupine. Israel and Palestine, no common ground. Then I went to work, begging, cajoling, can't we make this work? My virtues extolling, isn't what we have enough? Marriage can be really tough, we could both lose half our stuff. Should our lawyers speak? She said to me, I wasted time on you, thought you were the one, but you're just another jerk. I have a voodoo doll with a mustache and he's tall, body piercings till next fall, you'll share my pain. Silence in the dark, alone and unsure, wish my dog would bark, but he moved in with her. Tried to build a bridge halfway, ran out of wood the second day, took a step into the bay, it's really cold. One thing I can't comprehend, double-crossed by man's best friend, watching our love drift away, dreaming of another day. What a sad ending. No wonder I was depressed. But it forced me to conclude that at my age I should be looking for something different, Something sophisticated, elevated. Not a pounding, rutting, sweaty look, throbbing and naked, moist with wetness. That's not what I'm talking about. I wanted the kind of passion that's transformative, that would take my cares and disperse them like little fronds from a dandelion, being carried away by a spring wind. I wanted a woman with a really big wind, or a big woman with a normal amount of wind. A reason of proportion would be a really big wind. So I met a woman with great lungs and set about the task of falling in love with her. My plan was to write the perfect love song, the royalties from which would secure our future together. Because to be frank, some of my earlier efforts, for example, what a bitch I hate her, or she beat me with a shovel, were not the critical or commercial successes I might have hoped for. But love can be a crooked path, and things didn't always go as well as I might have hoped. For example, she says I hold back my emotions. I can assure you I'm not holding back anything. In fact, when I'm really excited, people often mistake me for dead. I think of myself as like one of those little lizards we have in California. When I get out of bed in the morning, I'm largely concerned with finding a rock on which to sun myself. This is a nice rock, the sun feels good. That's really about the full extent of emotional output you might expect from me. Actually, I have a little more range than that. For example, I like cheesecake, so that'll get me going. There's a really good cheesecake, I might exclaim gleefully. But she doesn't accept this, and gives as evidence the fact that I emote when playing with her dog. This is pure instinct. Man and dog have been playing together since the first domestication of the canine in the upper Paleolithic era. The dog puts his front legs down, sticks his butt in the air, and does the chase me move. No man can resist this. If she wants me to emote, she could put her arms down, stick her butt in the air, and I'd be emoting plenty. But she won't do it. However, I reason, if enough tequila is applied, who's to say what might happen? So with that thought foremost in my mind, we headed out for our Saturday night date to a restaurant on the wharf, but got caught up in the tourist traffic. She's being very cheery as always, and I'm being me. So traffic makes me a tad edgy. I figure I'll turn on the charm later when we get to the restaurant and I put away a couple blasts at the bar. But for now, I need a little quiet time to survey my instrument panel. She attempts to engage me in conversation. She says, look at that car next to us, they've got the cutest little dog. Naturally, I refuse to look, and I tell her if you make eye contact with another driver, they'll take out a gun and shoot you. I feel like I'm on solid ground here, because if you look in the California Driver's Manual, in the section on road rage, that's exactly what they say. Prevent a potentially violent incident, never make eye contact with an angry driver. And when you drive the way I do, everyone around me is an angry driver. But she's got a new trick in her arsenal when I don't respond with the proper level of emotional output. She tickles me, as I told her that wrestling story. So I go flying out of my seat, hit my head on the sunroof, almost crash into the car in front of us, all of which makes her curiously happy. It's good to know. When Valentine's Day rolls around, I'll just hit myself on the head with a brick. All this puts me in a cheery mood for when we arrive at the restaurant. She orders a glass of Sauvignon Blanc, some kind of girly white wine atrocity. But I stick with the program and get a tall glass of frozen tequila. I figure by the end of the evening, one or the other of us will be doing the chase me move. Actually, it works better when she does it. So I'm fighting back an ice cream headache as she launches into a discussion about her day at work. And since she's a nurse in the emergency room, a common theme is interesting objects removed from people's butts. Apparently the screwdriver's a popular item. I find baffling. I mean, it's got a handle on it, just pull it out yourself. Or get a power screwdriver with a reverse option. Anyway, I hear about this every Saturday night. But by this point, the alcohol is flowing freely, and her huge jaws are happily masticating on the remains of a cow. So we decide to set our differences aside and focus on what's truly important, making the evening a joyous celebration of romantic love. And perhaps I could describe what happened next in that relationship by performing another musical number for your listening enjoyment. Today's my day. I know that everything will come my way. The dawn is bursting and I'm feeling gay. My only wish is that this day might last until tomorrow. They usually do. And when the sunrise turns the sky to blue, I know I'll see you and say howdy do. Isn't it wonderful how life can make us so damn happy? In the trees, the birds are singing joyous symphonies. Due to hay fever you let out a sneeze. An antihistamine will surely let the fun continue at the park. We laugh and play like children till it's dark. But when the stars come out, we disembark. Back to your house for dinner. This tofu is so delicious. Sprouts are tasty and nutritious. Your mom looks just like Sid Vicious. I will help you with the dishes. Thanks so much for coming out.